could be anywhere doing a lot of different things, but you chose to be here.
Some shows don't need a celebrity narrator to introduce the show, but this show does. In a world filled with endless opportunities, why would two men who have built 13 multi-million-dollar businesses altruistically invest 5 hours per day to teach you the best practice business systems and moves that you can use? Because they believe in you, and they have a lot of time on their hands. They started from the bottom, now they're here. It's the Thrivetime show starring the former U.S. Small Business Administration's Entrepreneur of the Year, Clay Clark, and the entrepreneur trapped inside an optometrist's body, Dr. Robert Zillner. 2 men, 8 kids, co-created by 2 different women, 13 multi-million-dollar businesses.
We started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, now we're here.
Mr. Clyde started from the bottom, and now we're at the top, teaching you the systems to get what we got. Colton Dixon's on the hooks, I break down the books. The C's bringing some wisdom and the good looks. As the father of 5, that's why I'm alive. So if you see my wife and kids, please tell them hi. It's the CNC up on your radio, and now 3, 2, 1, here we go.
We started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we're here.
I think some people, they have a hard time sleeping, so they tune into my channel. It's a great way to put themselves to sleep. But if you're actually trying to grow a business, I will tell you that the note takers, I've observed, I've interviewed billionaires and multimillionaires and the world's most super successful people, and the 3 traits I find all the time is people that are super successful, they have a to-do list, they have a calendar, and they're very good about planning their day. They do it every day. And if you can get to a place where you do that, it is awesome and it's exciting and there's so much you can do. If you can't do that, that's a problem. And this guy to my left here, he has a company called officialsynapse.com. Can you tell everybody about your business there, sir?
Yeah, we're a functional medicine clinic up in Minnesota. We've got PAs, NPs, MD, chiropractors, coaches. So we work on lifestyle and problem solving.
Okay, so right here, this right here is what we call a workflow. All right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you for just a second to open to page 0 of your book, and I want you to draw your own workflow on page 0 of your book. So yeah, this is a cheat sheet, but you have to build a scalable business model, or it's not a business model, it's a hobby, or it's a skill, or it's a job, or that's okay. But if you want to build a business, the purpose of a business is to help you create time freedom and financial freedom. Does that make sense? So what we're going to do, and again, one kind of cheat code, you could take this sheet and you could cross out the word flow photography and you could write your own business name there. But you got to find a place and space where you're making your own workflow. You've got to build your own workflow. So, Jackie, can you cue up some Jeopardy music or something? And again, cue up Jeopardy, and let's hit play here. And we're going to come back but I want you to attempt to draw your own workflow. You can use this as a cheat sheet. I reckon when you draw it on the inside cover, we're coming back in 90 seconds. 90 seconds. Draw it out if you can. Draw it out.
I guess so. Half the job is just deciphering the handwriting. I mean, I have Oilers. Yeah. So it's not necessarily have. I wasn't sure how you reconcile that mathematically. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, once my wild world, I was changed from the name team.
Okay, workflow. So now, Josh, I'm going to have you, we're going to make a workflow in a minute, so you're going to be the marker guy. But in order to make room to draw the workflow, do you have I'm going to have you erase this part because we helped Billy with his workflow. So you can erase that. And we're going to go through all the questions. And between you and I and Troy, we're going to answer all the questions. And then we are going to draw a workflow for somebody here, okay? But it's so important that you have a workflow. This workflow that you have access to today is the workflow for flow photography. This is a guy who is very skilled at photography, but had no time freedom and no financial freedom. How is it possible to build a business that becomes like a cage that you can't escape? I'll tell you how. It's not having a workflow, right? Imagine you're a car builder and you don't have a blueprint. That's a problem. Riyadh and your son right there. You know, so you want to have a system and then everyone has to follow the system. Are we on the same page? So tomorrow you're going to see this happen at the Reawaken Tour, and my wife tells me, you should smile more. And I get it. But I'm not pissed, I'm just focused. So if I have a speaker and they're supposed to end at 12, let's say, and they're feeling the flow and it's 11:59, what am I going to do?
You're going to keep going.
So what if I have to end at 12 and it's 11:59, what am I going to do?
End at 12.
Yeah. And I do it all the time and people hate me because of it. But I don't care because I got to make sure I honor all the speaking times. So I have to say something subtle like, and we're done. All right, because you have to be on time, because if you're not time, if I let you go over, then you're eating someone else's time. Does that make sense? And so if you work at my office and you work for our haircut chain and you don't want to follow my system, that's a problem. Why is that a problem? Because it doesn't create time and financial freedom. Are we on the same page? So we're going to draw a workflow, but I want you to, somewhere on page 0, I want you to write down the 3 Ps. And Josh, can you be our official writer real quick? Can you write down the 3 Ps? 3 Ps. You're Canadian. You probably got great penmanship. You're probably walking calligraphy there. 3 Ps. There's 3 Ps. P number 1, in every business, there's 3 problems in business. There's 3 Ps. P number 1 is every customer wants to pay less. So P number 1 is pay. Every customer, or price, you call it price. Every customer wants to pay less. So lower P, price, okay? Every customer wants to pay lower prices. We on the same page? There are no customers that are saying, Mr. Gas Station, is there any way you could close down that Strait of Hormuz a little more so that I can pay more? Woo! You know what I mean? Nobody's saying, hey, Mr. Grocery Store, could you charge me more for eggs so that you could be profitable? Mr. Movie Theater, could you charge me more so that you could stay open longer? Makes sense? Price. Nobody wants to pay more. On the same page? 2, P number 2. All employees want to make more pay. And I'm not attacking any of these 3 groups. Are we on the same page? Every employee wants to make more money. I'm not upset about it. I get it, right? And the 3rd P, profit. And I'm telling you, there's 100% of nobody who cares about your profit except for you and me. So you have to really have a profound knowledge of those 3 Ps and knowing there's an inherent conflict. So, Troy, I want to get your thoughts on this. You run a medical clinic. Why don't the employees come to you and say, please pay me less? Please pay me less. Why?
Well, because they want more, and everyone always thinks they're worth more than what they are when they're an employee, when they haven't put the hours in that the owner has. And so that's why they get a little disgruntled if they'll assume the owner is just a billionaire right out of the gates because they own the company.
Okay, and Josh, I want to get your thoughts. Why don't the employees come to you and say, is there any way you could make more profit? Because I want you as the owner to make more money. Why hasn't that ever happened?
It's the fundamental laws of business. It's like the customers want more for less, and the employees want to do less for more. And we tell people that the natural gravitational pull for any business is to break even.
Yes.
And the CEO
Come on, say it again. You just said what?
Force.
What did you say? The
natural gravitational pull for any business is towards zero, break
Yes.
even. The CEO, the CEO of your company, is the only opposing force. How are we going to do things better? How are we going to, develop products and services that our customers want to pay more for? How are we going to create a workplace that people will come to work for us, even if we might not be the highest paid employer around, because that's especially a problem today, because a lot of times you're competing with governments who just print fake money to hire you're competing against for your staff.
So the 3 Ps, okay? So you have to make a workflow. So let's erase the 3 Ps. I think you guys have it written down. We want to create a workflow. And the next question we have here is interview mechanics. Somebody says, how do you find good people? I will walk you through the steps. Perhaps you can open your book to page 0 and take notes there. But there are multiple steps here to hiring great people, and I'll walk you through how to do that. And we usually keep a payroll of around 100 to 200, never more than 110 people, but ish, okay? So in order to get to that number of great people that we need, 1, you have to post every single week on Indeed that you're hiring. Every single week. Why do I interview candidates every single week, Josh? Every week. Even if we're quote unquote not hiring, every week.
Because the good employees are not necessarily available when you have a need. So if you want to find the best employees, you have to always be looking for the best employees, or else you're just going to hire the first warm body that you see when you do have a need, when someone, puts you shorthanded.
By show of hands, who owns a business? Have you ever been the last person to know that someone's quitting? Okay, so true story. I came to work about 3 years ago, and I get to work typically around 4 in the building. I wake up at 3, try to get here around 4 if I can, and then some days 5:30, but it just depends on what I'm doing. But kind of a net average of 4. I get here and I see this couple. They are making out. They are getting it on. It is like I feel like I interrupted something in my office. I'm like, whoa, you know what I mean? I'm trying to play it off like that was natural, no big deal. Nothing to see here. But God, my office creates that romantic ambiance or whatever, you know what I mean? But, and I see it and I'm like, ooh, but it's back there and I'm over here and I'm like, oh, whatever. Anyway, so in the handbook, you're not supposed to make out with your coworkers. That's just like a rule. You know what I mean? But that happens, right? So the one lady, she says, hey, I want you to know, my fiance, we've been dating. I'm like, oh, I know. And we've been together for a while. I know. And he hates you. And I'm like, I know. She's like, and you're been my favorite employer ever. I love it here. I go, I know. And he hates you. I said, I know. How is it that the one woman loves working here and her fiance hates me? I'll tell you. It's because it's merit-based pay. I pay people based off performance, not based on what they say they're going to do. So she is a money-making machine, and he barely survives in the same work environment. So you have to have a workflow where you think about what you're paying people all the way through this system, and at the end of this, all of this has to equal a profit for you, or what was the point of doing it? Are we on the same page? So business is not a hobby. It is not a fantastic, fun thing to do for the betterment of humanity. It is to exist to solve a problem for the customer and make a profit for you. We on the same page? That's why it exists, okay? It's like a car. The utility of a car is to drive you from A to B, right? The utility of a business is to help you. A business is a vehicle to help you get from point A to point B. So step number 1, you got to do the interview every single week. Are we on the same page? Every single week. If you're a doctor or you're not, every single week. You have to. And I interview candidates every single Wednesday at 5:30, every Wednesday at 5:30. And if we have 20 people who confirm for the job interview, do you want to guess what percentage, Troy, typically show up for that?
Anywhere from 1 to 3 people.
You're negative. What do you think, Josh?
Oh, we get like wild differences.
If I have 25 people that say they're going to show up to an interview, what percentage show up to the interview?
I don't know. Like sometimes it could be 2, 3, but after running the group interview process for a long time, like sometimes we're going to get 1, and sometimes we're going to get like 30, and we don't know what's coming that week. It's kind of interesting, actually.
I feel like my average right now out of 25 that confirmed, it's probably about 10 that show up for the job interview that they said they would be at. I couldn't imagine scheduling a job interview with a potential employer and not showing up. Now, I've been in business since 98. So in 98, it would normally be like 23 out of 25 would show up, and they're normally dressed sharp. Now you got guys showing up dressed like pirates, people that are high, people that are flipping their genders momentarily, moment by moment. You got usually a guy who's hosting a political protest in your office. You've got that kind of vibe going on. And so, Greg, you see it because you're here on Wednesdays at 5:30. How many people are here? No, because James has a quota of 25 people we need to reach a week. How many actually show up, you think? 8? And how many of them are just crazy? Where do you go, wow, that's, of those 8, so we had 25 that how many of them are just nuts? So usually 3 of the 8 are nuts. So we only have 5 out of 25 people that have a mind that physically and mentally showed up And again, what percentage of people lie on resumes? We talked about it earlier, 85%. Okay, so step one, interview every week. We got that? Okay, if you're looking to grow your business, every week. And I have a lot of employees. I don't care if you're a doctor, you're a dentist, whatever. You got to do it. 2, you want to interview people at the same time every week because the business exists to serve you as the business owner. You do not need to adjust your schedule to book a time for a potential employee who will ghost you. How many of you have ever done that before? How many of you have tried doing one-on-one interviews, and every time you schedule one, half of them miss, and you just get pissed? Quit doing that. Just say, if someone applies, say, we like your resume. I'd like to interview you at 5:30 on Friday or 5:30 on Wednesday. Whatever day works good for you. I do recommend you do it after hours because that way people can get there from their other job. Okay? But you got to make sure you do that. Okay? We're on the same page? Okay? So step 1, make sure you never stop job posting. Step number 2, you got to make sure that you interview candidates at the same time every week. So that way, if you meet someone at dinner, you meet someone, a friend, family, neighbor, connection, you can always know when that is. So if people say, oh my gosh, I would love working for you. Great, let's come to our interview Wednesday at 5:30. Someone says, hey, my best friend's looking for a job. Great, Wednesday 5:30. It's always the same time, okay? So you got to do that, okay? 3rd, during the group interview, my recommendation is during the interview, I believe, whether you're doing it one-on-one or as a group. And so let's say I was interviewing you. So, sir, what is your name? David. And this is how I do my interviews. David, what questions do you have for me about working here? How many hours a week do you have to work? It's 40 hours, so full time. What are my job responsibilities? Well, and I'm just going to answer how I would if it was my job here. I would say, well, if you work at Elephant in the Room, the haircut chain, our job is to wow the customer. And so we have a checklist for how we do that. But we want to make sure every customer feels like it's their birthday, like it's their wedding. We just want to really celebrate people. So it's a high human interaction business. So when they come in, we got to wow them. And so your primary role we're hiring for as a manager is to wow customers when they come in using that checklist. Anything else you have questions on? And I let them ask me, are you getting what I'm doing here? I never ask a single question. I haven't asked a candidate a question in probably a decade, maybe longer. Let's repeat the system because I'm saving someone a lot of time here. Step number 1, I post how often there, Troy?
Every week.
Even on Thanksgiving. What? No, you don't. Yes, I do. Okay. Even on Christmas. Christmas? Yes, I do. Every week. I only don't post I'm now hiring on weeks that I hate myself, which is never. Okay? So now, Josh, I've never read a resume. Eric Trump said this. For some reason, when Eric Trump says it, people go, that's good. Yes, I'll write that down. If we were to say it, we're like, I don't know whether I trust these 3 individuals. But when Eric said it, people are like, this is some good stuff. Eric says, I never, ever read resumes. And people are like, wow, he doesn't read resumes. Why? Because why would you want to read fictional things? Right? Well, I mean, why not go read Star Wars or Lord of the Rings or something? 85% of resumes are bogus, so you don't read them. You don't need to read them. You just call them and say, we got your resume. You may be a good fit. Could we interview you on Wednesday at 5:30? You don't need to. Because how many of you have ever had someone that had a great resume, you read it, you came in, they shadowed, you met them, you interviewed them, whatever you did, and they couldn't do the thing they said they can do? We've had optometrists who aren't optometrists. Plural, often. I'm an optometrist. You're a doctor, so you know what I'm talking about. Oh, I'm a doctor. I got my this and there. I went over here. I got my minor in this. And then you go, so you don't have a degree. That's true. How many of you ever seen this before? A graphic designer that cannot design with graphics. Have you seen this? The web developer who doesn't know how to. We had one guy from MIT who came to a job interview. And we did over the phone with Zoom. And he's a coding expert of MIT, whatever he is. He comes here. We do the group interview via Zoom. He shows up here. He cannot code anything. I'm like, dude, you have a doctor in whatever. You have a master's in whatever. How is it possible? Is it, well, we didn't ever do actual coding. We just learned. So have you seen this jackassery?
Oh, yeah. A lot of it, especially in healthcare. There's a lot of people who...
Especially in healthcare.
Especially in healthcare.
That's assuring.
You'd be shocked.
I mean, how many of you work in healthcare? How many of you see this jackassery? People that they just lie about the resume, making up fake names. What is your name? Post Malone. I don't think your name is Post Malone. My name is Post Malone. I think that's a bar name. It's like, okay, so post every week, okay? Then when you meet people, and if you're taking notes here, meet them at the same time every week for your sanity, because a business exists to serve you. I just know, and McKenna sees it, and some of the folks here see, I know that Wednesday at 5:30 will be absolutely a comedy show. I have to get in the right mindset for it. Last night we had, 3 pirates that showed up and left right away. They come in and they're like, dear God, I have to leave. You know what I mean? People that can't figure out what gender they are, then they're trying to get a job, and they're like, I'm leaving. I've never been. How many of you have seen outward Satanists apply for jobs recently? That's a new trend. I bet you got, 5% of the candidates are now Satanists? They're just rocking Satan wear at work. Okay, so you apply, you post step number 1, you post every week. Step number 2, interview at the same time. Step number 3, if you like the questions they ask you, so let's write that down. I don't ask them questions, because I'm not going to say, what's your biggest weakness? David, what's your biggest weakness? I mean, those questions are so weird, because the employees are going online. The candidates are reading the top questions they ask at a job interview, and it's like they're scripting it. They're role-playing in the mirror. My biggest weakness is I'm too dependable, and it irritates coworkers, but I'm also a little more humble. A lot of times I don't ask for the money I deserve. And my last boss actually was, worked directly with Adolf Hitler, but I was patient and I put up with it because I love everyone. They just make things up. So you have to just post every week, interview them at the same time, and if you like the questions they ask you, you want to schedule time to shadow, and you're in medical. So what you would do is you'd say, Carl, I think you might be a good fit. I'd like to have you come shadow in the workplace. You can shadow for 10 minutes, 10 hours, 10 seconds. I just want to see how you operate in the workplace. And you want to book a time, and don't book a time with psychos, because then you're stuck with a psycho all day. But just that's how you would do it. And if you don't like them, don't book it. I don't know if is that helpful? Does that answer your question? But in the medical space, this is exactly how I do it too. So I'm talking with doctors, dentists, lawyers. He's a doctor, so you want to talk about that?
Yeah, we literally had doctor shadow us an entire day yesterday before I got here, and then the day before we had coach, and it works really, really well because they get to understand what your culture is there. And so one of the things that Clay taught me is to hire for culture and train skill. And so I'm just very bold. I say 1-2 minutes of who we are, what our identity is, and I basically say, I love Christ, so everything you're going to hear about God, you're going to hear about Jesus in my business. That's how I operate. I voted for Trump, and I came out against the vaccine. And that's who I am. Any questions? Just like Clay taught me. And so the blue-haired people get up and walk out, and then the other people start to...
And when I met him, he was surrounded by people that were against him. Am I right?
Yeah.
Your office staff was against you.
Yeah, we've shifted a completely different culture right now. We have people who are mission-oriented, who are working with us, not against us. They're not... If I have an opinion, they don't have to agree with the opinion, but they have to be okay with me expressing my opinion and discuss it. And in healthcare, that was a very controversial thing about COVID. And so I had people that got up and walked out, and then I had people started crying. And so I'd have the criers come and shadow us because they finally felt a place that they could work at. Does that make sense?
Now, one follow-up, and I'll go back to you, David, for a follow-up. If you look up, type in elephant in the room, Indeed, in Google, you have to gather reviews from employees because employees now read reviews about employers before they apply for a job. So it's one more place to get reviews, which I hate to do that to you, but you have to because people look it up, So elephant in the room, if you click on our listing there with the reviews at the top, click that thing, yeah. And then on Indeed, again, you got to be very intentional about it. So we have a guy, tell me, David, I want to get your thoughts on this, and I don't mean this in a patronizing way. How many times could an employee bring a snake to work before you would fire them? One time? So we have an employee who'd been with me for years, and we'll call him 45. And we'll call the employee, the coworker, we'll call her 23, 22. And he says, hey, I'd really like to mentor you and teach you the finer things related to working here, unbeknownst to me. So she goes to his house. I don't know why you would do that, but now picture a 22-year-old at a 45-year-old guy's house, and he's talking to her about God knows what. And then she tells me, I didn't know, but I think I was being, groomed, or I think I was about ready to end up on, because it was really weird. It felt dark, and I'm like, what you did is you had a coworker who invited you to their lair. Never, ever, ever meet a man that, you know what I mean, at his apartment. And she was like, it's really gross artwork and it was really sexual. And I'm like, no, No, don't ever meet a man at his house. Meet for lunch, dear God. Look, what are you doing? You meet for lunch. All of a sudden, I'm giving dating tips, And she's like, was he actually trying? I'm like, stop it. He's a 45-year-old man. He invites you to his dark lair of funk. Are you nuts? Stay out of there. And she's like, I didn't know. I thought he was a good guy. I'm like, listen, I don't want to know most of these people. I just want them to do their job and go home. Because if I did follow him home, I wouldn't have very few people. So she's like, okay, I get it. So another 6 months or so goes by. Same guy. Customer calls me. I have mystery shoppers in our store. I pay people to pretend to be customers, to give me feedback. You should do that too. And a guy says, hey, snake. And I'm like, I don't know. I think snake, what are we talking about? Video game or what is a snake? What's up? He's like, dude, you had a snake in your store today. And I'm like, no. Now, my understanding is the guy brought a snake that's like as long as this to work. And he put it in the break room because he was running behind. Why wouldn't you? And he keeps it in there, and the snake is like, and it opens the door somehow or gets through the crack, and and you imagine you're getting your hair cut, and all of a sudden this thing is like, and then the guy says, oh, that's my snake, whatever the snake's name, Bobby or White Fang or Cujo or whatever. Look at my snake. And the customer's like, and just out. But because the guy, all the coworkers, so I call the coworkers. Was there a snake in our store today? They're like, I don't want to get anyone in trouble. How many of you know that? They do that. I don't want to get anyone in trouble. Okay, but let's talk about it. Did the guy bring a snake to work? Yeah. Who knew about it? We all did. Can someone tell me why we didn't say anything? Well, he told me he didn't want the snake to overheat in his car, and so he had to bring it in. I'm like, oh, sure, it's an ethics thing. And I'm like, while we're talking about Snake Man, has Snake Man brought multiple women to his lair? And they're going, yes. I'm like, over what period of time? For years he does this. This is how he gets girlfriends. And I'm like, come on! And I say this dark, terrible, twisted, nefarious story because this is what it's like being an employer in America today.
Yes.
So what you have to do is you interview people, okay? And then you have them come in for the interview. The guy didn't say, oh, by the way, I'm a snake guy with weird sexual art on my wall. He just said, I cut hair, looked up his resume, looked good, always showed up on time, okay. Does a good job, didn't say, by the way, I've been, married and divorced over and over and over and over and over, and I'm a sicko. You know what I mean? I don't know that. But by doing the group interview, Rihanna tells me, she says, hey, Snake Man, this and that, and I'm going, let's let him go. Let the Snake Man go. So today, we let Snake Man go. I'm good. I'm happy. And the Snake Man now works for my competition. So I'm excited. I was praying for that. So now he goes and, take your snake over there. But if you don't do the group interview every week, you're stuck with Snake Man. Who's ever been stuck with a snake charmer in your workplace? You're held hostage by the Snake Man, bringing his snake to work every day, and you're held, who knows what I'm talking about, being held hostage in your own business? So what questions do you have, follow-up question like? This is a big thing for people. Yeah. HIPAA.
Yeah.
Right, so they come for the follow along, or do I have to get them to sign HIPAA forms and all that stuff, or how do you take care of that too?
We actually do have them sign a HIPAA form when they come in, just to observe. And it's just, they don't read it, but it's all there. They sign it, and yeah. Yep.
And real quick,
Yeah.
you guys are doctors,
Yes.
and you guys can talk shop on that. But what I would just say is if you're in a workplace, I just try to make sure, I don't need someone to shadow all day. So, in an optometry setting, I work with optometrists. I can usually tell whether somebody's a good fit or a bad fit for the workplace within seconds. And then, but you can't always tell, but you're trying to tell. Back to Snake Man. I don't know at what point a man says, I no longer care about the laws of God, and I'm just going to be the Snake Man. But when I hired Snake Man, he wasn't that way, and I'm not attacking anybody here who has tattoos, but I discovered that the higher the tattoos went up the neck, the crazier he got. And I don't know if there's a relationship, a direct correlation, but he was once a Dennis Rodman of the Pistons. Remember Dennis Rodman on the Pistons? Sean, will you look up Dennis Rodman on the Pistons? He kind of had the Dennis Rodman on the Pistons look. And then he became Dennis Rodman on the Bulls. And it was a transition I saw over a period of about 6 or 7 years. But what happens is, did you find it, Dennis Rodman? You pull him up there on the screen. Dennis Rodman on the Pistons. You guys looking that up? Pistons, yeah. Dennis Rodman Pistons. You see the Pistons? Click on images. Dennis Rodman Pistons. Click on images. Images, yeah. Pistons. That was kind of who I hired, you know. And then somehow Dennis Rodman type in Dennis Rodman North Korea, you know. Somehow the one that I had to let go now works directly with North Korea, our ambassador to North Korea, Dennis Rodman. So I don't quite know. Who knows people change? And when they change, unless you want to change with them, you got to be able to have candidates coming in. Is that helpful? Okay, you have something to add to that?
I mean, you'll learn so much in the shadow day and in the group interview. Like, if you really tell them who you are, like they were saying up here, like, yeah, if you tell them who you are, you get the best candidates. And that shadow day, like, we have them bring a lunch because during that lunchtime, we're going to put one of our junior staff to go in like 007 and start asking the questions that we can't ask, right? And they'll start telling you exactly why they quit their last job or why it doesn't work out. And like in our team, like they don't want to cover for that C person. And we've had people like come in some days and like this is their first job at a university, so they can't do anything for 8 hours. They'll ask to go for the bathroom and then you'll never see them again. The funniest one we had so far, Clay, is we had one lady come in. And she comes in quickly, asks my office manager, "Can I get a coffee?" My office manager says nothing, thinks nothing of it. She goes out into the kitchen to get a coffee, and we hear this big bang, or my office manager heard a bang. My office manager goes and checks on her, and there was milk all over the kitchen. Like, we're not quite sure, how she did it. So she starts talking to her, finds out that this lady's high. She's definitely high. High. But she'd already started cleaning the kitchen, so my office manager niece is telling me, it's like, well, she's doing a pretty good job, so I'm going to let her finish cleaning. And she ends up scouring the kitchen for like 3 or 4 hours. And then finally she's done scouring the kitchen, and Denise escorts to the door and says, "It's time for you to go. Your shadow day is done for the day." And then after that, I had come out, because I didn't know any of this was happening. I'm in the back doing client meetings. I come out, and this lady walks back to the front door. Is like, "Can I just wait here for my ride?" I didn't know any of this had happened, so I said, "Sure, no problem," right? And so then I go back into my office doing more meetings, right? And my staff had to kick her out for the second time because I had no idea this was happening.
How many of you have employees? This is normal. This is my wonderful wife, my extended family. They don't understand this because my normal is so dark, so jaded. I'm like a guy who's like been a burn victim, and I'm like working in a fireworks store, and they're going off. I see. So Riyadh, this is for you and your son. This is big. Dr. Zellner told me this, and I thought it was such a profound thing. I was having we used to do, and I still do. We call man time, man cave, and I go to his house, and he's always, it's an outdoor fireplace, big fireplace. He's always burning wood, and then I'll ask him business questions, and it really helps me a lot. And this is when the DJ business, little context, it's called djconnection.com. You can pull it up. This is when we had 50 DJs. And Dr. Zellner said to me, "Clay, people change seldom. So unless you're a life coach, stop coaching people's lives." And I'm going, what does this mean? Because at the time, I had a bunch of dysfunctional DJs, and I was spending all of my time trying to teach them how to not be drunk at work. No, I'm not kidding. And I'm just telling you, this is real stories. I'm not trying to be gross or weird. I'll try to get a G-rated here. But I had one employee who, imagine this, we DJ'd over someone's wedding, bride and groom. Bride and groom were in their late 40s. The bridesmaids were twin daughters who were like 18. DJ calls me and says, "I did hook up with the bride's daughters, and I wanted you to know I'm at this hotel, but I'm too drunk to drive, and I wonder if you could pick me up." And I'm like, "Wait a minute. You're in a hotel with the bride's daughters, plural?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I told Z the story, and he goes, "Oh my God, I feel dirty as a result of hearing this story. You got to quit hiring people like this." And I'm going, "But I met him, and every one of them always had a disclaimer, like, well, but they normally aren't like this, but they and then you kind of, does this make sense? But he hears the story, and he's like, "You're sick. You're the worst employer." Okay, We had one of our employees that kept getting pulled over. Who has employees that keep getting pulled over? I don't get pulled over. Who knows people that always get pulled over? It's amazing. I don't get tickets. Who knows people that get tickets every day? I'm like, "Z, our top guy keeps getting tickets." He's like, Because you're a moron. Fire him. So I'm just trying to help somebody here. If you have a group of idiots on your team, you have to replace them because people change seldom. And unless you want to spend your day reliving Ricky Lake and the Maury Povich show, you have to fire idiots.
Are you looking to start or grow a super successful business? Join Eric Trump, the New York Times bestselling author of The Carnivore Diet, Sean Baker. Join hundreds of real business owner client success stories at the highest rated business conference in America. Join Mel Kay, Pastor Jackson Lawmeyer, Julie Green, Amanda Grace, Pastor Dave Scarlett, and myself in Tulsa, Oklahoma, November 5th and 6th. Attend the most real, the most authentic, the highest rated, and most reviewed Ultimate Business Growth Workshop. During this 2-day interactive business workshop, you're going to learn everything you need to know to make your business grow. Learn how to generate more sales. Learn how to produce additional high-quality inbound leads. Learn how to create repeatable systems. Learn how to build a successful business. And learn how to do it now. If you've ever wanted to learn how to start and grow a super successful company, this is the event for you. At our 2-day interactive business workshop, we will teach you specifically every step that you need to take to start and grow a super successful company. We will teach you specifically how to get to the top of the Google search engine results, how to dominate artificial intelligence search results, how to market via social media, how to generate more leads, and how to get in front of your ideal and likely buyers. We're going to teach you the step-by-step processes that you need to learn in order to hire, inspire, train, and retain high-quality employees and teammates. We're going to teach you specifically what you need to learn to manage a team of people. We're going to teach you how to manage your finances, how to look at the numbers, and to figure out the specific steps that you need to take to create a time freedom and financial freedom producing business. At the Thrivetime Show 2-day interactive business workshop, we've been teaching entrepreneurs everything they need to know to start and grow a successful company since 2005. In fact, at our 2-day interactive business workshops, we're going to teach you marketing, systems and scaling, human resources, accounting, social media marketing, branding, search engine optimization, sales training, financial management, and so much more. You can learn more and request tickets today simply by going to thrivetimeshow.com. Yes, you can request tickets today simply by going to thrivetimeshow.com. That's the website. Join Eric Trump, myself, and Team America live and in person at the Thrivetime Show 2-day interactive business workshop, November 5th and 6th in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
My name is Kevin Thomas, and the name of our company is MultiClean. We are a commercial janitorial service, and we serve the entire state of Oklahoma and Kansas, and soon to be Arkansas. We have probably grown 5 times. We've added, I think when we first started with you, we had 60 to 65 employees. And now we have a little over 300 employees. Before we got involved with Thrivetime, we didn't really have any systems or processes in place. So I've probably been to, in 6-7 years, I've probably been to 12 to 13 business conferences. And amazingly, each time I go, I learn something new, and I'm so excited to bring it back and show the team about marketing and how to implement.
Okay, Aaron Antis, November 5th and 6th. Guess who's coming back to Tulsa? I will give you a hint. His first name is Eric, and his last name is Trump. Whoa. And his father is the 47th president of these United States. Yes, Eric Trump is joining us once again here September 25th and 26th in Tulsa, Oklahoma for the 2-day interactive Thrivetime Show Business Growth Workshop. But Eric Trump is bringing friends. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Amanda Grace will be in the place. Dr. Stella Emanuel will be here in T-Town in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Julie Green will be on the scene. Mel Kay will be here to say hey. Dave Scarlett from the His Glory team will be here. It's going to be a blasty blast right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. If you want to start or grow a super successful company, if you want to make your wallet great again or make your wallet great for the first time, if you want to learn marketing, systems, scaling, human resources, accounting, social media, branding, search engine optimization, sales training, financial management, and more, get your tickets right now at thrivetimeshow.com. Once again, that's thrivetimeshow.com.
Hey, I'm Ryan Wimpy. I'm originally from Tulsa, born and raised here. I've definitely learned a lot about life design and making sure the business serves you. The linear workflow for us and getting everything out on paper and documented is really important. Like we have workflows that are kind of all over the place, so having linear workflow and seeing that mapped out on multiple different boards is pretty awesome. That's really helpful for me. The atmosphere here is awesome. I definitely just stared at the walls, figuring out how to make my facility look like this place. This place rocks. It's invigorating. The walls are super, it's just very cool. The atmosphere is cool. The people are nice. It's a pretty cool place to be. Very good learning atmosphere. I literally want to model it and steal everything that's here at this facility and basically create it just on our business side. Play is hilarious. I literally laughed so hard that I started having tears yesterday. And we've been learning a lot, which, you know, we've been sitting here, we've been learning a lot, and so the humor definitely helps. It breaks it up. But the content is awesome, off the charts, and it's very interactive. You can raise your hand. It's not like you're just listening to the professor speak, you know. The wizard teaches, but the wizard interacts and he takes questions, so that's awesome. If you're not attending the conference, you're missing about 3/4 to half of your life. You're definitely, it's probably worth a couple $1,000s. So you're missing the thought process of someone that's already started like 9 profitable businesses. So not only is it a lot of good information, but just getting in the thought.
Clay Clark is here somewhere. Where's my buddy Clay? Clay's the greatest. I met his goats today. I met his dogs. I met his chickens. I saw his compound. He's like the greatest guy.
I ran from his goats, his chickens, his dogs.
So this guy's like the greatest marketer you've ever seen, right? His entire life, Clay Clark, his entire life is marketing.
Well, people don't know this, but the Trump organization has thousands of employees. There's not 50 employees. The Trump organization, again, most people don't know this, but the Trump organization has thousands of employees. And while Donald J. Trump was the 45th president of these United States, he needed a competent man to run and execute his business plans. Showtime! So the man that runs the Trump organization for Donald J. Trump, as he was the 45th president of the United States and now the 47th president of the United States, is Eric Trump. And so Eric Trump is here to talk about time management, promoting from within, marketing, branding, quality control, sales systems, workflow design, workflow mapping, how to build. I mean, everything that you see, the Trump hotels, the Trump golf courses, all their products, the man who manages billions of dollars of real estate and thousands of employees is here to teach us how to do it.
You are talking about one of the greatest brands on the planet from a business standpoint.
Right.
I mean, who else has been able to create a brand like the Trump brand? I mean, look at it. And this is the man behind the business for the last, pretty much since 2015. He's been the man behind it. So you're talking, we're into 9 going into 10 years of him running it, and we get to tap into that knowledge. That's going to be amazing.
Now, think about this for a second.
But that Clay Clark, man, he is one character.
It's a good word for him, character. Yeah, that is it.
Good, driven, smart. And I've never met a guy who was so hyper all the time. He's doing so much good. And then I met his mother, and she just says, she just lets him be Clay Clark. I mean, so he's endorsed by his mother, and he's doing magnificent work. So it was great meeting you out there and all the people that he surrounds himself with. Clay Clark starts his days at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, it's incredible. Yeah, he's a machine. He's a machine.
Yeah. But I have problems with my company starting at 9 o'clock. Yes, hundreds of people showing up at 5 a.m. in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Man, he's a leader of a leader. He's a fantastic young man.
No, he is.
The lineup continues to grow, and this is how we do our tickets here at the Thrivetime Show. If you want to get a VIP ticket, you can absolutely do it. It's $500 for a VIP ticket. We've always done it that way.
Now, if you want to take a general admission ticket, it's $250 or whatever price you want to pay. And the reason why I do that, and the reason why we do that is because we want to make our events affordable for everybody. I grew up without money. I totally understand what it's like to be in a tight spot. So if you want to attend, it's $250 or whatever price you want to pay. That's how I do it. And it's $500 for a VIP ticket. Now, we only have limited seating here. With the most people we've ever had in this building was for the Jim Brewer presentation. Jim Brewer came here, the legendary comedian Jim Brewer came to Tulsa, and we had
718 people. 718 people.
And I thought to myself, there's no more room. I felt kind of bad that a couple people had VIP seats in the men's restroom. Oh, no, I'm just kidding. But I thought, you know what? We should probably add on. So again, if you want to get tickets for this event, all you have to do is go to thrivetimeshow.com. Go to thrivetimeshow.com. When you go to thrivetimeshow.com, you'll go there, you'll request a ticket, boom. Or if you want to text me, if you want a little bit faster service, you say, I want you to call me right now. Just text my number. It's my cell phone number, my personal cell phone number. We'll keep that private between you, me, everybody. We'll keep that private. And anybody, don't share that with anybody except for everybody. That's my private cell phone number. It's 918-851-0102. 918-851-0102. I know we have a lot of Spanish-speaking people that attend these conferences, and to be bilingually sensitive, my cell phone number is 918-851-0102. That is not actually bilingual. That's just saying Juan for a one. It's not the same thing.
I think you're attacking me. Now, let's talk about this. Now, what kind of stuff will you learn at the Thrivetime Show workshop? So, Aaron, you've been to many of these over the past 7-8 years, so let's talk about it. I'll tee up the thing, and then you tell me what you're going to learn here, okay?
Okay.
You're going to learn marketing and branding. What are we going to learn about marketing and branding?
Oh, yeah, we're going to dive into, so many people say, I got to get my brand known out there, like the Trump brand, right? You want to get that brand out there. It's like, how do I actually make people know what my business is and make it a household name? You're going to learn some intricacies of how you can do that.
You're going to learn sales. So many people struggle to sell something. This just in, your business will go to hell if you can't sell. So we're going to teach you sales. We're going to teach you search engine optimization, how to come up top in the search engine results. We're going to teach you how to manage people. Aaron, you have managed, no exaggeration, hundreds of people throughout your career and thousands of contractors. And most people struggle with managing people. Why does everybody have to learn how to manage people?
Well, because first of all, you either have great people or you have people who suck. And so it can be a challenge. Learning how to work with a large group of people and get everybody pulling in the same direction can be a challenge. But if you have the right systems, you have the right processes, and you're really good at selecting great ones, and we have a process we teach about how to find great people. When you start with the people who have a great attitude, they're teachable, they're driven, all of those things, then you can get those people all pulling in the same direction.
So we're going to teach you branding, marketing, sales, search engine optimization. We're going to teach you accounting. We're going to teach you personal finance, how to manage your finance. We're going to teach you time management. How do you manage your time? How do you get more done during a typical day? How do you build an organization if you're not organized? How do you do organization? How do you build an org chart? Everything that you need to know to start and grow a business will be taught during this 2-day interactive business workshop. Now, let me tell you how the format is set up here. And again, folks, this is a 2-day interactive 15. Think about this, folks. It's 2 days. Each day it starts at 7 a.m. and it goes until 5 p.m. So from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., 2 days. It's a 2-day interactive workshop. The way we do it is we do a 30-minute teaching session, and then we break for 15 minutes for a question and answer session. So, Aaron, what kind of great stuff happens during that 15-minute question and answer session after every teaching session?
I actually think it's the best part about the workshops, because here's what happens. I've been to lots of these things over the years. I've paid many thousands of dollars to go to them. And you go in there and they talk in vague generalities, and they're constantly upselling you for something, trying to get you to buy this thing or that thing or this program or this membership. And you leave not getting your very specific questions answered about your business or your employees or what you're doing on your marketing. And what's awesome about this is we literally answer every single question that any person asks, and it's very specific to what your business is.
And what we do is we allow you as the attendee to write your questions on the whiteboard.
Yep.
And then we literally, as you mentioned, we answer every single question on the whiteboard. And then we take a 15-minute break to stretch and to make it entertaining when you're stretching. And this is a true story. When you get up and stretch, you'll be greeted by mariachis. There's going to probably be alpaca here, llamas, helicopter rides, a coffee bar, a snow cone. I mean, there's just...
You had a crocodile one time. That was pretty interesting.
You know, I should write that down and actually do that.
Sorry for that one guy that we lost.
The crocodile, we duct taped its face so that we duct taped.
No, it was a baby crocodile.
And it was duct tape.
Yeah, duct tape around the mouth so it didn't bite anybody. But it was really cool passing that thing around and petting
I should do that. I should. We have a small petting zoo that will be assembled. It's going to be great. And then you're in the company of hundreds of entrepreneurs. So there's not a lot of people in America today. In fact, there's less than 10 million people today, according to U.S. Debt Clock, that identify as being self-employed. So if you have a country with 350 million people, that means you have less than 3% of our population that's even self-employed. Yeah. So you only have 3 out of every 100 people in America that are self-employed to begin with. And when Inc. magazine reports that 96% of businesses fail by default, you have a 1 out of 1,000 chance of succeeding in the game of business.
It's tough.
But yet the average client that you and I work with, we can typically double this. And this is no hyperbole, no exaggeration. And I have thousands of testimonials to back this up. We have thousands of testimonials to back it up. But when you work with a home builder, when I work with a business owner, we can typically double the size of the company within 24 months.
Yeah.
Double. And you say double? Yeah, there's businesses that we have tripled. There's businesses we've grown 8x. There's so many examples you can see at thrivetimeshow.com. But again, this is the most interactive, best business workshop on the planet. This is objectively the highest rated and most reviewed business workshop on the planet.
I was looking to learn how to take my business, like they've said today, from being very successful to being systematic. I've got a very successful practice in 3 different cities, make good money, just want to take it to the next level with systems and processes to where I can drive my cars more.
Paul Hood.
I've been a CPA for 33 years.
And what kind of growth have you and your great team had here over the past, let's say, 5-6 years?
For the last 5, when I met you 5 years ago, we were doing 3 million. This year we'll do 24 million.
Whoa. And you say, Clay, I'm not going to get a ticket unless you give me more. Okay, fine. We're going to serve you the same meal both days. True story. We cater in the food, and because I keep it simple, I literally bring in the same food both days for lunch. It's Ted Escondido's, an incredible Mexican restaurant. That's going to happen. And someone says, I want more. This is not enough.
Give me more.
Okay. I'm not going to mention their names right now because I'm working on it behind the scenes here. But we've got one guy who's given me a verbal to be here. And this is a guy who's one of the wealthiest people in Oklahoma. And nobody really knows who he is because he's built systems that are very utilitarian, that offer a lot of value. He's made a lot of money in it's where you rent. It's short term. It's where you're renting storage spaces. He's a storage space guy. He owns what do you call that? The rental,
storage space.
Storage units. This guy owns storage units. He owns railroad cars. He owns a lot of assets that make money on a daily basis, but they're not like customer facing. Most people don't know who owns the mini storage facility, or most people don't know who owns the warehouse that's passively making money. Most people don't know who owns the railroad cars, but this guy, he's given me a verbal that he will be here, and we just continue to add more and more success stories. So if you're out there today and you want to change your life, you want to give yourself an incredible gift, you want a life-changing experience, you want to learn how to start and grow a company, go to thrivetimeshow.com. Go there right now, thrivetimeshow.com. Request a ticket for the 2-day interactive event.
Hey, how's it going? I'm Thomas Crossan, owner and founder of Full Package Media in Dallas, Texas. I've been a coaching client with Clay Clark since the beginning of our business. We started about a year ago, August of last year. I had no clients, no idea what we were doing, no clue really what was going on. And now we've grown to where we've got 6 photographers, we've got office space here. I have an admin, sales person that works for us full time, developing an online system, and a lot of that growth we attribute to Clay helping us. And there's so many things that no, I mean, his stuff is not, revolutionary. It's not this crazy walk on hot coals and all this stuff. It's just real stuff.
It's going to be a blasty blast. There's no upsells. Aaron, I could not be more excited about this event. I think it is incredible. And there's somebody out there right now, you're watching and you're like, but I already signed up for this incredible other program called Smoke Your Way to Thin. I think that's going to change your life. I promise you, this will be 10 times better than that. Whoa.
It's like I picked the wrong week to quit smoking.
Don't do the Smoke Your Way to Thin conference. I've tried it. Don't do it.
Yeah, chain smoking is not a viable. I mean, it is life changing. It is life changing. If you become a chain smoker, it is life changing.
Not the best weight loss program, though.
Right. Really. So if you're looking to have life changing results in a way that won't cause you to have a stoma, get your tickets at thrivetimeshow.com. Again, that's Aaron Antis. I'm Clay Clark, and reminding you and inviting you to come out to the 2-day interactive Thrive Time Show workshop right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I promise you, it will be a life-changing experience. We can't wait to see you right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Whoa. What kind of growth have you had since you and I have been working together over these past few years?
3.45 million. I got those stats before I got on here.
So you've grown by 3.45 million.
Yeah, 3,450,000.
Would that be like if you took the combined revenue and maybe doubled it? Have we gone up by
about almost 3, not quite.
Whoa.